Let's say we are tasked to solve this question. Okay, so what we do first, we need to find the amplitude of every time that the interval change. If you look here, first interval, second interval, where we have a change. Third, since it's a straight line, this we're not going to consider. We're only going to consider the change in horizontal. Okay, so we're going to have how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to add them together. Now the next thing is to define the amplitude. For those that are constant, it's actually easy. In between those 2 points, we actually have 0. But here we don't know. We need to find the slope. So we will solve the slope later on. Between those 2 points, the amplitude is actually 2. So between these 2 points, the amplitude is actually 0. So this is what we're going to get here. Between those 2 points, the amplitude is actually -1. So the only thing missing is this block here. So we need to find the slope to that point. Okay, and this is what we have. So this is where we're going to get our P1. This is where we're going to get our P2 at this point. So it will be x2, y2, and then here at P1 it will be x1 and then y1. I don't have space there, so this is the point that we're going to get. Now let's define the value of x and the value of y. At P1, x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. At P2, x equal to 2 and then y equal to 2. Okay, since x and y, x1 and y1 are equal, x2 and y2 are equal, our tangent line will be t. It will be a straight line slope. But let's first solve it, so then you're going to see. But this is what I'm gonna say. But we're going to solve for it if x2 equal to y2. So which is 2. x1 equal to x to y1. So the slope f of x equal to t. This is just an assumption. We're going to verify it if that is the case. So let's see. Let's take those 2 points and then solve. Okay, let's find the slope. Okay, m equal the variation in y and then variation in x. This is y2 negative y1, x2 negative x1. What is y2? Y2 is actually 2 negative y1, which is negative 2. It's actually positive 2. So as you can see, and then here it will be 0, negative 0. The answer to this will give us 0 over 0. Hey, one mistake I see. It shouldn't be this. So it's actually y2 negative y1, which is 0. x2 negative x1. So x2 is actually 2. So we should have 0 here. And here we should add a 2 there. So we'll get to be 2 negative 0, x2 negative 0. So the answer will be 2, and the slope will be equal to m will be equal to 1. for now. This is m, and then let's solve using those equations that we always use. So this is the tangent line that we're going to use. It will be m times x negative x1, or y negative y2 equal times m x2. Okay, so I'm going just to replace, we're still gonna get the same value, m equal to 1, x minus, what is x1? x1 is actually 0, and then y negative y2 is actually 2, y1 is actually 0, so 1 times x minus x2 equal to, so it will be y equal to 1x negative 0, and then y negative 2 equal to x negative 2. Remember, it's a multiplication of this what you see inside there, so it will give me x minus 2 plus 2, which will give me x, because these two will cancel out, so it's like moving this on the other side, the sign is going to change. So I find y equal to x, so meaning f of x equal to x. Okay, and what I said here, it has actually true. Actually I was supposed to say x, not t. We're not working with t, so it's actually x here. So I was right this when I pose this saying that it's going to give us this what you see here. So what I will go, I'm going to place that value there, so then we know already the amplitude that we got here is actually x. And then if you have to find it to find out if what we got is correct, you could just reverse back. You could just find them using for proof. Just take this block here. You're just gonna come here. Okay, let's, if the answer is correct, let's find x1, x2. If you plug the value of x inside, x1 is actually 0, so f of 0 will be equal to 0, so that's why you're gonna get 0 if you put 0 inside there. So f of 2, which is 2x, will give you 2, because if you put 2 inside x, and the answer to that will be 0. So this is just to give you an idea of what you get. Not 0 is actually 2, so that's why you see we have 2 and 0. This is actually for you to solve for y1 and then y2. So for now you're not gonna see exactly, because we only have one term, x. This is good when you have x plus something or x times something, so then you can check it for yourself. That's how you do the proof, just to check. And then we got our x, and then I'm gonna move all of this somewhere else, maybe this side. So let's continue. So we got all the amplitude. Now it's time to write down the final ft. Okay, I'll start with the first. So here we're going to solve it between those 2 points, and the amplitude is actually 0. So I'll say 0, we start at negative 2 x, and then we end up at 0. Okay, let's move on. This point and that point, and then their amplitude is actually x, so it should be x, where we start at 0, so it's like continuing where we left off, x, and then we end up at 2. So that's why you see I'm going to select 2 here. Okay, let's continue with the next point, which is going to be this point there, and then that point here. Their amplitude is actually 2, so it will be 2, because you can see that it is just, we're going to continue where we left off, and then 4. So let me just remove this other, it should be something like this. Okay, let's continue now between so we're going to continue now between 4 and 6. Amplitude is 0, so you will see it will be 0, 4, 0, 4 and 6. Alright, so let's continue between 6 and 8, -1. Oh, okay, so it should be -1, 6 and 8. So this is where what you will get as the interval of our function st. Now if you want to get the amplitude, since you could just get it from here, 0 and 8, your amplitude, not the amplitude, the period will be equal to 8. But if you don't want to write down 8 immediately, you can just verify. This is where we started, and this is where we're going to end. So this is where we have -2, and here we have actually 8. Okay, and our starting point is not actually the amplitude is not, so I made a mistake, so it's supposed to be -2, so it's like -2 until 8. So your period will be, since this is where we start, s, then this is where we end, so your period will be equal to sum absolute plus end. So this will be -2 plus 8. Then this is going to be changed into 2, so it will be 2 plus 8, which will give you 10. So your period equal to 10. Then you can represent it in this form: ft equal to ft plus 10. So this is how we went about solving this question. So then you can write it in that form. So you can use it for Fourier transform, Fourier series. So then you can get your equation, which you can use to solve. You may also use it into Laplace.